Aloha, my friends. So, as we're all getting ready to do this amazing cleanse that's starting on January 11th, I just wanted to bring up one other aspect of cleansing that, if you're new to cleansing, you may not be aware of this. So, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that as you're doing a physical cleanse and we're cleansing out toxins in our body, what actually also happens often is that there's also an emotional cleanse that happens. So different emotions that we may have suppressed and may not have wanted to deal with and have really stuffed down for maybe many, many years. Sometimes as our body is releasing all of the toxins physically, it also starts releasing all of these toxic emotions. And actually, if you've ever read the book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, she goes deeply into how emotions that are stuffed cause various physical ailments and conditions and diseases and pains and things like this. So it's really important to actually face our emotions, to let them come up in a cleanse, to welcome them and embrace them and almost treat them like a little child, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. Kind of just love ourselves through whatever is coming up. So you may experience sadness while you're cleansing, or anger might come up, irritability, loneliness, fear, anxiety. And one thing I like to remind myself is that these emotions, they're just energy. They really are. If we can really just sit with them and feel them as energy, um, and allow them to move through, allow them to be, first of all, and allow them to move, that they do wind up moving through. It's when you suppress them and don't look at them and don't deal with them that they then seem to like come out your pores anyway. Like we really can't repress them. They're going to come out somehow or another. And oftentimes the way they come out is a pain in the body, or an accident that you might have, or some kind of disease. So it's really, really important to let this process happen as you're cleansing. You might wind up quite sensitive as you're doing a cleanse, so just be aware that that's something that could happen. You could wind up crying at the drop of a hat and not know why. You could wind up irritable or impatient, but all of this, remember, we're only doing this for a month, so we can really survive a month. And honestly, you're going to come out the other side free from a lot of these things that have had their grip on you, whether you realize it or not. Like, sometimes these emotions are going to be controlling us from deep down inside where we've been repressing them. So a nice thing to do is to really do the technique of just observing. So if you can like step outside of yourself and become the witness as you're feeling an emotion. It's really hard. It's a practice. It's not something that we can do perfectly all the time, or, just out of the blue be great at it. But it's a practice to, as an emotion comes up, if you can catch yourself, just observe, like, oh, look at that. I'm feeling sad. And then just remind yourself, like, this is an emotion that is going to pass through. Nothing is permanent. Everything is always changing. So even though it might feel like you're always going to feel sad, how many times in the past have you felt really sad? And are you sad right now? Or how many times have you been really, really angry? And are you angry right now? So all of these things pass through in cycles. And so yeah, just take some deep breaths. One of the techniques you can use, and ask your higher self to come in, or whatever higher power you believe in, to help you kind of process through the emotion, and where is it coming from. And sometimes I like to just do a little meditation when I'm feeling something, any emotion or physical sensation. and I'll just get really, really quiet and just draw my attention to that place in me and say, I'm listening. And then just listen. Not try to throw any Reiki lightning bolts on it or white light it or anything like that, but just really try and get quiet and listen to whatever that sensation or emotion is. And man, some really interesting shifts happen in your energy when you can do that. Have had some pretty cool experiences with that. So you may not have anything come up. You may just go through the cleanse and have some physical things purged out, or you may lose weight. All of the physical things may happen, and you may not have to deal with anything emotional. That's possible too. It can be different every time, depending on what we're ready to actually deal with and process. So a lot of times, we've all heard of emotional eating, right? We stuff our emotions by, you know, eating that chocolate or popcorn or whatever. And so a cleanse is a really good time, since we're not allowing ourselves all of those comfort foods. It is going to be a time where that numbing of the emotions isn't really happening anymore. And so the emotions are going to bubble up. And you don't want to run from them. You don't want to hide from them, honestly, because they're causing your body damage. I have a friend on Maui, Denise Labar, who wrote a fantastic book called Issues in Your Tissues that really shows this, how a lot of the repressed emotions get stored in our tissues of our body and our organs, and they can really have an effect on our health. So fantastic book. Check it out. Issues in Your Tissues. But if we embrace those emotions, love them again as if they're a child, show ourselves more love, not less, as Matt Kahn likes to say, then oftentimes they don't have to be so insistent on trying to get our attention. They can settle down a little bit. Another thing that might happen on a cleanse is you might feel more clarity arise. And what that can bring is actually when you're clear on, when you're like, oh my God, I never really realized that situation, person, job, relationship, whatever, isn't working for me. It's not serving me. It's not making me a better person, or it's not making me happy, or it's toxic in my life. We all have those toxic situations and people, but we, are too lazy or too afraid to face the fact that situation isn't good for us. So when you are getting that clarity as you're doing a cleanse, sometimes it can cause some upheaval as you then come face to face with a choice that you have to make. Like, oh, okay, now I'm clear that this isn't good for me, and now I have to choose. What am I going to do? So just be aware that those kinds of things can come up. But again, it's all good because it's real. It's what is what's going to help you be more authentic and alive, and you and being who you are, and not just doing something because it's what you're being told to do or what is easy. But it's this is a real opportunity for us to grow and expand and really tune in to ourselves, who we really are. Yeah. So as these emotions come up, there are going to be different ways that you can, different things that'll support you in processing through them. So my favorite one is breath. So as a strong emotion comes up, or even any physical sensations, I try to do my best to remember to breathe, take some deep breaths. And there are even some breathing patterns that you can do. The simplest one probably would be a box pattern of like 4 counts as you inhale, count to 4 as you hold, count to 4 as you exhale, count to 4 as you hold the breath out. And then doing that will really help settle the nervous system, and help process through those emotions. So deep breaths are really, really important. It just helps you feel your aliveness, and you can watch as those emotions come and go. Again, nothing is permanent. The Buddhists have the term anicca. So it's meaning that everything is always changing. And the more you can just be with that, the more it's really helpful to allow those emotions to process through. Um, Another thing that's going to be super important on the cleanse, both physically and emotionally, is to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water to help flush out all of the toxins, both physical and emotional. And, so that we don't get dehydrated as we're peeing a lot out as well. Sunlight is going to be an important thing. So if you can be out in nature, that'll be great to just let, the Japanese take, what do they call it? Forest baths, forest bathing. And you really feel a difference the more time. I know for me, the more time I can spend in nature, the better I am. The more time I can spend barefoot with my bare feet on the earth doing earthing, the better I feel. So it's, I know it's challenging right now. I'm spending time on the East Coast where it's winter and it's cold, and, we may not have the opportunity to be in nature as much depending on where you live, but, any opportunity that you see where you can be out in nature, even just, if you can look out the window and calmly observe a flock of birds flying by or something like that. All those patterns of nature are very soothing to the nervous system. So that is one very good thing to do during a cleanse. You can take advantage of healing modalities like Reiki, acupuncture, massage, flotation tanks are one of my favorite things to do. Sensory deprivation flotation tanks, absolutely amazing. Infrared saunas, all of these things are going to help move that energy around. Of course, aromatherapy, essential oils, so beneficial. Maybe I'll do a whole nother video just on essential oils while we're cleansing. And what else? Writing, so you can journal, and that can definitely help us become more aware of the emotions as they're coming up. I find that sometimes when I'm writing, things will come out that I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I was thinking that or feeling that. Gratitude journaling is also an amazing practice. It really has such amazing benefits to feel into gratitude every day. So here's a little commercial for something that's happening right now, it's actually already going on. My friend Coach GB has put together an awesome Facebook group called Gratitude Jar. And in this Facebook group every day, he's posting a prompt. Today I'm grateful for. And then we are all commenting on that post what we're grateful for. And it's just a really great space to be in a community of people all expressing gratitude. And then he's keeping track of our run streaks, how many days in a row we post our gratitude. So the run streaks are going to be refreshing and restarting again on the 1st of January 2020. So if you'd like to participate, let me know and I can add you to that group. It's super awesome. At the end of the year, whoever has the longest run streak, he's going to donate $365 to the charity of your choice. So it's really beautiful. So you can do a written gratitude journal, or you can join our Gratitude Jar group, GB's Gratitude Jar. One thing also in the cleanse that's going to be super important is making sure to get regular bowel movements happening, because if you don't, then the toxins that are trying to come out that way, if they're not coming out that way, they may start to try and come out through your skin. So you could get a rash. So magnesium is great. Prunes, Whatever you have to do, not smoking, hopefully not coffee during the cleanse if you can manage it. Um, Movement is a really good way to get the bowels moving. So we really need to make sure that we're exercising and moving. Um, yeah. And also doing creative activities that you love. So if you like to paint or sing, I personally love toning meditation. So that's a way to get that energy moving. But definitely if you've got some pent up emotions, you may want to get out and do some physical activity. So as part of the cleanse, one thing that I plan on doing throughout this cleanse is to take a total break from social media. So I've been kind of pulling back from social media, using Facebook not to as a place where I go and mindlessly scroll, but where I will go in as if it were a website and use the sites that I need to use for my business or for my learning, things that I'm learning, or like this gratitude jar. I will just beeline it right for that group on Facebook, and use it, like I said, as if it were a website. Yeah, it's a really good thing to spend less time on screens as much as possible while we're doing a cleanse. The EMFs are just not great for us. And they really do take a toll on our nervous system and our emotional system. Like, I don't know, when we post on Facebook, most of us post our highlight moments of, things that are great that are happening. When we're on a beautiful walk in nature or we're out to a fun dinner or whatever. And so then as you scroll and you see everyone's highlight moments, even though consciously we recognize that that's what's going on. People aren't posting when they're like couch potatoing in front of the TV. Even though we know that, it's still like there's something that just makes you feel bad, like, oh, my life's not that good right at this very moment, as you see people on their vacations and everything. So take a break from that comparing ourselves to other people. With that, it might also be a good thing to take a break from news for as long as you can, maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe the entire 30 days. I actually did a month-long meditation retreat at the New Year last year on Maui. And one of the most awesome parts of it was that we all turned in our phones and we didn't have computers or phones for an entire month. And I swear it was so peaceful. It was so wonderful to not have that constant bombardment from the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies in our system. It also helped that we were right on the water. But anyway, so I think those are the main things I wanted to share about the emotional component of a cleanse. Again, please don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid that, you won't be able to handle it. You can handle it. And you're going to come out the other side of this cleanse way clearer and way calmer, and perhaps with some major life shifts, maybe some things that have been stuffed for a really long time. And now that you're an adult, you can face them, and you can process through them. And there's help. So if you are experiencing these things, we're going to be doing this cleanse in a group. So it's going to be a really loving, supportive community, the Healthy You group. But there's also, like I was saying, Reiki and acupuncture and even therapy. Like hopefully in this day and age, therapy is not a stigma anymore. I absolutely adore my therapist on Maui. And, it's something that I think we all could benefit from, taking the time to explore our feelings with someone who's trained to help us explore them. So don't be afraid. Just be with your emotions. They will pass through. I'm here to support anyone who's in my doTERRA Ohana who's doing this cleanse with us. And even if you're not, I'm here to support. As a health coach, if you are not in our doTERRA Ohana and you would like to do a cleanse with me, feel free to contact me and we can put together a personalized cleanse for you. Or if you'd like to join our doTERRA Ohana by purchasing this cleanse kit for this Healthy You cleanse that our larger doTERRA group is going to be doing, just contact me and I can help you get started, and then you can become a part of our doTERRA Ohana. So I think that's all for now. Feel free to contact me with any questions or comments if you'd like to talk more about this topic of the emotional aspect of the cleanse. I'm definitely here for you. So aloha, and looking forward to cleansing with you. Okay, bye.